this number so he can't catch my leg. Okay, we're gonna do the elbow escape, which is when your elbow goes under my leg from here. Bring your knee underneath my leg. Hook my leg with your foot. Put both hands on this knee. Slide your hip away. And bring the legs around to put me in the guard. Once again, please. That's not. If the person is here and he's got the legs spread out so that you can't catch his foot, he's doing one of these, you can put your elbow here, or you can help with the hand. Usually it's called, the elbow is the first thing to start, so we call it the elbow escape because the elbow is already in this position. So the elbow brace is here, right? Then you put your hand on the knee like this. Move your head back so that you can put your hand on my knee like this, and slide your hip back so that the bottom leg comes under. Hook my leg, hands on the other knee, scoot your hip away, and bring the leg out, crossing the legs behind my back on the end. Put it back. Once again. So the elbow escape is like an emergency exit. It's an extremely effective way to get out from this position, and it's almost impossible to prevent that from happening. Okay, from this position here, if I'm preventing Royce from trapping my arm, keeping my base very spread out, he can go for the elbow escape by putting the elbow and then the hand. Turns his body sideways. Instead of pushing my knee with his hands, the hip is what moves back. My knees stay on the same position. His body is what's going to slide away. Then he puts the hand on the knee, bring the bottom leg out, catches my foot, slides the hip back the other way to bring the knee under, to then cross the legs behind my back. Okay. I want to show you a drill here that's going to make it easier. The idea is from this position here, laying down, you want to keep your foot planted on the ground and your shoulder on the ground so that you can swivel your hip under. That's the move. So that when you go for the elbow escape, you put your elbow on the person's knee and the hand, use your foot on the ground and this leg flat on the ground so that you can slide your hip away. Bring your knee inside his leg, hook it, hand on the other knee, plant this foot on the ground and slide your hip away. Bring the leg out and cross your legs on the end. Once again, so from here, the elbows are on the ground next to the person's knees. It's one, like this, one, get the leg out. Two, get the leg out. What makes it easy to move my hip is that I have my weight, my hip off the ground. My hip is off the ground. I'm putting the weight on the foot and my hip swivels underneath. So it goes under and out, and under and out. That's the move. So that's a very good drill from laying down position like this, elbow on the ground and scoot your hip away. Elbow on the ground, scoot your hip away, and eventually cross your legs. Please. So if the person is here, for the elbow escape, if I have my base spread out, you use your elbow, bring the leg out and hook my leg. Stop for a sec. If you don't hook the leg, the person on top will have a chance to mount again. So you want to make sure that you trap my leg so that I'm stuck with this. I can't get my leg out. Hand on the knee, back up the hip, second leg comes under, and always cross your legs on the end of the move. Once again, let's back up. So if I'm here, move is wedge your elbow on the knee, slide your hip away, get the leg out and trap my foot. The hip is what moves. You don't want to push the person's knee away. Instead of pushing a heavy person's knee away from you, let the knee be there and just slide your body away from him. One more time, please. If I'm in this position, that's the move. I'm staying, my knees will stay planted on the ground. His body is what moves away. Okay. So if the person is here, that's the move. Elbow on the knee, sideways, get the leg out, hook my leg, get the leg out, and then always cross your feet on the end. Make sure that you cross your legs to force the person in my position here to get locked inside of your legs. Okay, we'll now do a recap on the sequence that we've seen. Okay, if the person is going to have you by the neck, trap the arm, keep your elbow in, locking the foot, and lift your hips straight up. Okay. Other side, trap the arm, lock the foot, hip goes straight up, and here. Okay. As you can see, in this way to escape, when Royce traps my arm like this and locks the foot, he is on the bottom position right now, and as he locks the foot and lifts the hip straight up, he is now on top. Okay. And then we talked about the other way to escape, which is the elbow escape, in which he wedges the elbow on my knee. Instead of pushing my knee, he moves his body away, brings the leg out, traps my foot, hand on this knee, bring the leg out, and then cross the leg. The fact that I end up on top of him, apparently on top of him, does not necessarily mean that I'm in an advantageous position. The fact that I'm inside of his legs, it's a very good, advantageous, and classic defensive position for Royce at this point. So don't think that just because I'm on top means that I'm winning the fight. That's not necessarily it. Okay, let's go back to this again, please. So here I am on top because I'm sitting on his chest. Here I am inside of his leg. It's a whole different ballgame. Okay, once again. Right? So from this position here, he wants to trap the arm, lock the foot. I can't get my arm out. As he lifts the hip straight up, he gets up. Okay. If I have my hand under his neck, he confirms the grip with that hand. The head goes back so I can't get my arm out. Wedge the hand on the hip. Locks the foot on that side because it's the same side of the arm that is strapped. And as he lifts the hip straight up, I'm out. If I spread my hands like this, he then can put the hand on my knee. He can use the hand with the arm straight like this, or if my knees are too high, he puts the elbow because it's a better wedge. Elbow with that arm and the hand on this knee. Turn the body sideways. Hand on the knee, get the leg out, lock the foot, scoot the hip away, and cross the legs. Let me remind you that the person that knows Gracie Jiu Jitsu is always with the advantage. So as you probably notice at this point, when Royce traps my arm here and locks my foot to lift me up, he now is on top of me here and can take advantage of this position. When Royce does the elbow escape and gets out like that, I am now inside of his legs or on his guard. And if I don't know what to do, it's bad news for me. So because he knows the techniques of Gracie Jiu Jitsu, even though he's on the bottom, he still can capitalize on that. So the fact that he's on the bottom doesn't necessarily mean he's losing, or the fact that he's with the legs in this position, because he knows what he wants, he still can get me out and be on top and capitalize from this position also. Okay. Let me also include in this sequence that when he's doing, he traps the arm, locks the foot. If I step out, he can change from one movement to the other. He hooks my leg. If as he's trying to do the elbow escape, or sliding the hip away, I put my weight on top of him, he can now go ahead, roll the guy over to the other side and end up on top of him here. So he starts by trapping my arm, lifting the hip up. I block the move. He defends that. As he scoots the hip away to put me on the other, I catch him here. He now rolls the person to the other side. And he's on top of me here. Other side. 1, 2. Get over here. And he's on top. Remember that the technique should be repeated at this speed, very relaxed, effortlessly. And that's one way out. I spread my base, he does the elbow escape, bring the leg under, traps my foot, cross the leg, yes, okay. Find here. Locks the foot, I step out, traps my leg. If I put the weight on top of him, he can just feel the weight going, and over we go. Mount the leg, yes. Okay. Change it from one escape to the other escape. Hand on the knee and cross the legs. His arm. If you can, flip him out so that you can go on top of him. If there's a chance, you always want to do this escape first. Okay. Only if the opponent resists or prevents you from doing that, then you change the move. Put your hand on the knee and put him inside of your legs. You are no longer with him on that worst position, with the mounted position. You're already out of that. We have him inside of your legs now. It's better to have him here than have him here on top of you. So for the person on the bottom, you prefer to have him inside of your legs, okay? If you're gonna be on the bottom, you wanna have him inside of your legs. If you can, trap the arm, lift him up, and get him out completely, even better. Okay. So if the person is here and grabs your neck and you trap the arm, and he now does this, he changes. As I hold on to his neck, he feels the weight. Changes to this. If he decides to grab onto you doing this kind of thing like this, you want to untangle your foot, take advantage of this hook that I have, hold my arm, wedge my hip, and then lift your hip up, because if this leg is free, I lose control in the position. If I spread my legs very much, you might also want to do the elbow escape by using that hand on my knee, untangling your leg, escape from underneath, hook my leg, put him on your guard by bringing this leg under, and now you're out. Same thing, please. Do this, bring your leg under. If I resist and hold on tight, take advantage of his weight. Lift the hip up, right, leg goes in, locks the foot. If when you're doing this, he does the escape with the arm, and as he tries to put me inside of his leg, I hold on to him. Go ahead, move your hip away more. And I'm too heavy, he can always go to my back to end up on top anyways. So if I'm here or squeezing his neck, he locks my arm, traps my foot, lifts the hip, I step out, he does this move.